schedule our backups. We just took one last backup at the end of it. So I want us to try to see if we can set our backup, put our backup settings, schedule our backups, and let them run all through this weekend. So when we come in next week, we'll be seeing how they're running, and we'll know how we're playing with 1 or 2 tricks on it. Are we good?
Yes, sir.
All right. We want to talk about your backup. First thing I want to tell you about a backup is, okay, question, what's backup? What do you understand by backup? What is a backup?
The backup
is a?
It's a copy of if you copy a data from one location to another location.
Copy of what? Data, what copy of?
Present data from one location to another location.
Copy data. Where is data stored?
In the file.
The file.
Good. So, have you copied a file before?
Yes, sir.
Good. So, when we do a backup, we're copying the file. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Copying the file from one location to another. And that location, before now, it was a location. But now, that location is called what?
Directory.
FRA.
Fast recovery area.
Directory FRA.
It's called the fast recovery area. Yes, that's where you're copying your backup files to. All right. So, let's try to copy our files. Let's try to copy our files from, let me give you an example of what we mean by copying files to the file. In the night, we have some allocated slots for us where we can do our backups. And that allocated slot for us to do our backups is a time window. It's called a backup window. For purposes of this class, our backup window will be from midnight to 2 a.m. How often do we back up? Every night. But for purposes of this class, let's do our backup from midnight to 2 a.m. Are we good? And what does that mean? It means that every night at 2 a.m., we are going to copy our data files, because this is media. We'll talk about, no, this we started with media. We're backing up media, now we're backing up file. And data is stored in the file. So if you want to back up data, back up the file. Are we following? So we're going to call our backup window we said it's going to be 12 a.m. to 2 that time. It's called our backup window. All right. And what is our backup? Our backup is copying files from where the files actually belong to another location where we have designated to store our backup. In this case, we're going to call it the FRA. So our data, if our database is called XXDMO, our backups will be, we'll copy files from our backup location, from our database location, which is what? /aura data /XXDMO/ we'll name our files here, file 1, file 2, file 3, file 4, file 5. And we are going to copy these files using our cp command to copy the files to what location? A location called /aura data slash FRA slash XXVMO. Now pass in there will be by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is a description of how we are going to back up our database. What are we saying? We are saying that every night we are going to run something like this. Slash our data, slash FRA, slash XXVMO. I'm going to copy this files one by one. We can have our files here. This is called file 1, file 2, file 3, file 4, file 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is the backup. We've copied it on the backup window. Does that make sense? That's the description of what the backup is. My next question to you is, there are two ways that we can do a backup: a consistent backup and an inconsistent backup. Question to you is, what is a consistent backup? That's the question. What is a consistent backup?
Consistent backup is a backup where the database has been shut down.
Okay, a consistent backup is a backup where a database has been shut down. What does that mean? What does that mean? Where the database has been shut down. So if you shut down your database, you back it up, it's a consistent backup. Why are you shutting it down? Why are you shutting the database down? To do a backup. What is your purpose of shutting it down? What do you achieve when you shut your database down?
So to put it on archive mode.
You're so confident of yourself and you're asking a question. I'm asking you, what is a consistent backup?
Sure.
Yes.
It's when the database has been shut it down consistently and then the checkpoint take place.
Very, very good. She says a consistent backup will be a backup that is taken when the database is shut down consistently. Give me an example of a consistent shutdown.
Shut down immediate.
Immediate.
Normal and
Normal
transactional.
and
Normal and
transactional.
transactional. Very good. Very, very good. It says it is a backup that will take place after
Consistent shutdown.
after a consistent shutdown. And we know that our consistent shutdown is what? Normal shutdown, immediate shutdown, and transactional shutdown. Mary also said, when you shut down this database in this manner, guess what? He said, checkpoints what took place, right? Takes place during the shutdown. What do you mean by checkpoint takes place? Someone just give me a description, quick one-line description. Checkpoint takes place during a shutdown. What does that mean? Huh? What do we mean by checkpoint taking place after during a consistent shutdown?
Means that we don't need a recovery.
No, recovery is after it has been shut down. What do you mean by checkpoint taking place during a consistent shutdown. What does that mean?
If you mean all data files from the buffer cache has been written down to the data files, and the
All the what? Say it again.
meaning all data blocks in the buffer cache has been written down to the data files.
Very good. We must pick your words. Suppose you were saying something different before. All our data blocks in the buffer cache has been consistently written down to the data file. That is checkpointing, right?
Yes.
DB writer does all that writing before your database is shut down. That is why when you start up your database, there is no need for recovery. The checkpoint takes place so that all our files are written down. Our files are all in sync. What does that mean? All the files are in sync, right?
Yes, sir.
It means what?
The SCN numbers match up.
All four.
If three people are talking at the same time, we can't hear.
It means the SCN numbers are match up.
With between what?
The redo-log files, the control files, and the
Control files and the data file header. Data file header. That's what checkpoint occurs, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
there is a synchronization of SCN, right? Data file header and
Control file.
profile. All right. So a backup that you take after you shut down a database, normal, immediate, and transactional, then you come in here and you copy all the files that are in /data /xxdmo /file 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you copy them to where? You copy them to where? /data /fra, right? /xxdmo. After it has been shut down, that is called a consistent backup.
On the data file header. Oh,
What are you talking about? Who's that? I said it's a consistent backup. Data file header has done what? It is a consistent backup. All right. While consistent backups are very good, it's not practical. Why is it not practical? Nobody allows you to shut their database every night. And how often do we do backups? We do them every night. And nobody's going to allow you to shut down their database every night. It is the best type of backup. It is the most, it's a consistent backup. It's the best backup that you can have. When you recover from this backup, there is no need for any recovery. And that's what you want. But it is not practical. You cannot tell Walmart that you want to shut down their database to do a backup for 2 hours. If they lose $2 million a minute and then you want to take it down for 2 hours, it will never happen. So we now have a more popular type of backup. And this more popular type of backup is called an inconsistent backup. Another name for a consistent backup can be a cold backup or an offline backup. All right. What is an inconsistent backup? And listen, what is an inconsistent backup?
Well, I think the backup that is performed when the database is still up and running.
Okay, say that again.
It's a backup that is performed when the database is still up and running.
Okay, I like that answer very much. What does that mean? A backup that is taken when our database is up and running taken when database is open. What does that mean? It's up and running. Our database is up and running and you take a backup. All right. An inconsistent backup is a backup that is taken when your database is up and running. It is a backup that must be taken when your database is online. We can also call this backup a hot backup or an online. There are other names that we can call an inconsistent backup. Note that your database is up and running. What does that mean? It means that transactions are still taking place. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
It means that transactions are still taking place. It means that people are still doing business. It means that people are still doing business. Are we following?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We will take an inconsistent backup. We'll back it up. We'll back it up table space by table space. Just throw your eyes into Walmart. Walmart has a table space for bags, has a table space for shoes, has a table space for electronics, has a table space for grocery, etc., etc., etc. All right? Are we following?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, if you want to back up table space by table space, you know that a database is made up of table spaces, correct?
Yes, sir.
So let's consider that we want to back up a table space, and that table space is called bags. Or let's say shoes. Are we following?
Yes, sir.
Table space which has shoes. I want to back up that table space. We need to, first of all, take that table space or put that table space in backup mode. We'll put that table space in backup mode. Then we'll use operating system commands to copy that data file for the table space. And after we finish copying the data file for the table space, we'll take that table space out of backup mode. This is what I'm talking about. To back up a table space called shoes, we're going to do this. On SQL Plus, we're going to type alter table space shoes begin backup. Semicolon. This statement put our table space shoes in the backup mode. Are we good?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Then we go to the operating system. We can do this, or we can say host, and then you copy the file. The file is what? Slash or data slash xxdemo DMO slash choose 01 dot DBF right? We'll copy /aura data /xsdmo /choose01.dbl, and we're going to copy it to /aura data /aura data FRA, right? We're sending it to the backup location. So
FRA.
/aura data /FRA /XXDMO. And that's how we're going to copy this file, right? So we're going to do it tablespace by tablespace. Alter tablespace choose begin backup. Then we go to the operating system copy command. We copy /aura data /xsdmo /choose01.dbl. I'm going to copy it to /aura data /FRA /SXDMO. All right. When that copy finishes, when we finish that copy, we are going to put this table space. We're going to take this table space out of backup mode. And how are we going to do that? We're going to type in SQL back alter table space choose and backup semicolon. All right. So an inconsistent backup, the database is open. Does that make sense?
Yes,
The
sir.
database is open. The fact that the database is open means that we can write SQL in it. Somebody put up that phone now. What is this? Can you put your TV or something? Mute yourself. So we want to copy the files from /aura data /xxdmo /choose01.dbl to /aura data /FRA /xxdmo. Then we're going to take that table space out of backup mode. And once we take that table space out of backup mode, then that table space has been backed up. Then we go now to the next table space, maybe for backs, maybe for electronics, until we back up all the table spaces in the database. I have a question. I want to assume that, okay, let's assume that shoes, right, is our file number 1. Remember, let's back up one file after the other. We want to copy one file after the other. If shoes is file number 1, and the file shoes is being copied from /aura data /xxdmo to aura data FRA SXDMO between 12 midnight and 12:30. It means that we are copying these files from what time? From midnight to 12:30. My question for you is, can you buy bags? Sorry, can you buy shoes between 12 midnight and 12:30? Note, this shoes file is not available because it's being backed up, correct? It's being copied up somewhere else, so you can write to it. The question is, can you buy shoes between midnight and 12:30 while that file is being copied? Yes or no, but I want to hear the explanation why you can or cannot. Do you understand the question?
Yes, sir.
No. We have to back up table space by table space. The question is, when you are backing up a table space, can you do something with the file that is in that table space? Can you perform a transaction? In this case, we're backing up the shoes table space. Can you buy shoes between the hours of 12 to midnight? We're assuming that that's when it takes to, about 12 to 12:30. We're assuming that that's when it takes to copy the file over. Can you buy shoes?
No, sir.
No.
Prof, I'll say you can buy shoes.
Okay, give us the reason why.
I think you can buy shoes if the table has a view.
No, the table does not have a view. View points to the parent table. So if you're updating data in the view, it is updating it in the parent table. But this is not available right now. Does that make sense? Remember, I use a virtual table mapped to a parent table.
When you alter, you lock the table.
Who's David?
You cannot buy.
We can. I think we can, because in this moment we are in inconsistent backup.
What does that mean? You can't because you are in inconsistent backup. It's open. We are backing up table space by table space. The table space for that particular for the particular item we're trying to buy is shoes. Shoes tables data file is not available for writes. My question is, can you buy bags or can you buy shoes when this file is being packed up?
No, sir.
You cannot buy shoes.
No, you can't.
We can buy because I think the table space is locked.
Then I need answers.
So I think we can buy shoe
Because
you know we are backing up the table from, I'm sure, from another location, and the table of course is online and it can be accessed.
I'm telling you that it's being copied. What does the second command stand there? Being copied is not, it cannot write to that file.
So you can't use it. You cannot use it.
We cannot. The table space has been locked in exclusive mode.
Well, you can buy shoes between the hours. You can buy shoes between the hours of 12 and 12:30. You can. Why can you buy it? Because your database must be on archive lock mode. So we're going to put it here for an inconsistent data. If an inconsistent data file, the database must be in archive lock mode.
Oh,
what does that mean? It means that at that point, when this file will freeze, the actual word is quiet. The file will be quiet. What does that mean? It means that we're going to stop the SCN from moving forward while we're doing that copy. When you freeze that SCN, I want to assume that you freeze it and it's at 500, right?
Yes.
500. We'll copy this file to the backup location. We are going to unquiet this file. Unquiet it means we freeze that SCN. When you unquiet it, it means that you can now write to it and it will start writing from where it stopped. Where is all that information? Is in the archive log, files. So when you do alter table space shoes and backup, our file shoes01.dbl, know where it stopped. At midnight, it stopped at 500. Now it's midnight 30, and I have bought 5 shoes, right? Immediately, it gets that information from the archive files and the review log files, and it recovers itself until it catches up and gets back to the 505 where our database is. But that will only happen after that table space has been released. So yes, we can buy shoes, but the information will stay in the archive log files. And upon release of that file, the file is quiet. And upon release of that file, the file plays catch up. It recovers itself.
That's what I wanted to say.
Never speak again in this class. Well, let's see.
Sir, but
I knew you could buy shoes, but the installation was not there.
Yes, that's what I was trying to say.
You like to learn, you like to fool yourself. It's a choice.
Why you didn't say it? You should have said it.
What? All right. When you want to buy, because your database is a condition that your database must be in archive log mode for you to do an inconsistent backup. You put your table space in backup mode, you copy your files over, you bring your table space out of backup mode, and your database catches up on the SCX and becomes regular again. And so goes to the next file and the next file and the next file. All right? That is an inconsistent backup. All right. The next thing that I want us to talk about is what we call next thing that I want to talk about is what we're going to call, so always I want to have my backup window, and I'll call the time between 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. I call that my backup window. All right. When you back up your database, you back it up from where? /aura data /xxdmo/12345, and you back it up to /aura data /FRA/XXDMO. That's your files. 3, 4, 5. Copy your 5 files from your database location to the backup location. All right. When you back up your database, in here, your FRA location, in here, you will decide how long you want to keep it there. And you will make that decision based on what is called your retention policy. How long do you want to retain your backups? So your retention policy will be what? It's what? How long to keep your backups, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
For
sir.
purposes of this class, we are going to keep them for 7 days. Does that make sense? Let's assume that the service level agreement of your company says keep the backup for 7 days. All right? What does it mean? Keep my backup for 7 days. But guess what happens? Keep my backup for 7 days. What if somebody gives you a request that they want backups? They want backups from from 10 days ago. What do you do? The company policy says keep my backups for 7 days, because 7 days is the official retention policy. And then somebody comes now and wants a database from the backup of 10 days ago. What are you going to do?
It will not be available in APROF.
The question is, what are you going to do? Send them an email that is not available? In database administration, we have something called the MML. In database administration, we have something called the MML. MML stands for Media Managed Layer. Media Managed Layer, examples of companies, a different thing. What do? You back your database up to the FRA and they back up your FRA. Around the 4th or maybe 5th day, they know that your policy is 7 days. Sometimes by day 4 or by day 5, they'll come and back up your FRA. Because if your retention policy is 7 days, on the 8th day, your database automatically, admin will go and clean up everything that's more than 7 days old. Well, why are we not worried? We're not worried because the MML, which is storage manager, managed by the storage manager, it comes in and then backs up your FRA, backs up your FRA. Does that make sense? So the MML backs up your FRA. So if you want it from 10 days, although the backup files are not available to you, you are going to call the storage manager and tell them that you want the backups from 10 days ago, and then they will restore it to you. What is the difference? The difference is in service level agreement. If you want a backup, if you want the data from a backup that is within 7 days, my turnaround time could be 24 hours and I'll give it to you. But if you want a database to restore, let me restore a database for more than 7 days, for more than my retention policy, I will have to call somebody else. So I can no longer give it to you in 24 hours, in maybe 48 hours or 72 hours. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
It is not available to me, so I cannot just make it really available to you. Examples of companies that run MML are, so we have examples, will be Tivoli, is the name of the product. It is managed by IBM, or it's owned by IBM, sorry. We have Veritas. We have EMC Square. Some also examples. Oracle has a tool to it. Oracle has something called Oracle Secure Backup. But it's just MML. They manage what we call tape libraries. We have what we call tape libraries. So depending on the company, they may keep it for 6 months. And after that, they're going to put all your data into tape and then ship it out of your company, give it to professional storage guys. Who has ever heard of a company called Iron Mountain? Iron Mountain. Iron Mountain is a company that they take tapes and then send it out to different locations, and you store the tapes where you want to. Some people use tapes for. Some people take tapes to store them 10 years, 15 years, depending on legal ramifications. How long they want that data. Sometimes they call a phone company, they can have your data for up to 20 years. But then the company doesn't keep it. You keep it for 7 days. After that, it's no longer a business. So somebody wants it, and they can get it from that. All right? That is usually what we call backup of the backups. All right? What does this company do? They do what? They do backup of backups. Right? They back up your FRA. What is in your FRA? Your backups, right?
Yes.
Yes. So you back up to the FRA, they back up your FRA. And it is called media managed layer. Are we good?
Yes, sir, we are good.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, backup of the backups. All right, the next thing I want to introduce you to is called backup strategy. It's called your backup strategy. Backups. So I want to use the backup strategy. What is our backup window?
12 a.m. to 2 a.m.
12 a.m. to what?
2 a.m.
2 a.m. All right. 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. Okay, let's say your backups are now running very, very well. Life is good. And guess what? Your backups are running, and your current backups, when you started running for 1 hour, 15 minutes, then they started running for 1 hour, 30 minutes after 1 year. Are we following? Because data is growing, which is a good thing, right? Correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. So then 2 years down the line, they start running for 1 hour, 45 minutes. And guess what? What happens when they start filling up your 2 hours? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Your backups cannot fit that is 12 to 2 a.m. What are you going to do? Your backups can no longer fit your backup window. What are you going to do? Huh? Nobody's talking.
We change the window.
To what? Maybe to 3 o'clock? That is not allowed. They will not allow you to do that. Because before they give you these 2 hours, they feel they have been very generous. So they will not allow you to change that backup window. What are your choices? What else are you going to do? you start thinking of ways to change your backup strategy such that it fits that window. Are we following?
Yes,
So
sir.
I'm going to give you a couple of different backup strategies, and then we're going to see how we are going to work on. What is a backup strategy? To plan your backup such that you never lose data. That's the bottom line of backup strategy. So I'm going to give us a backup strategy based on a 7-day window. And I'll do Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. All right, based on that 1 week. For my first backup strategy, I'm going to take a full database backup on Monday. Oh, sorry, on Sunday. On Monday, I take a full database backup. On Tuesday, I take a full database backup. On Wednesday, I take a full database backup. On Thursday, I take a full database backup every night. On Friday, I take a full database backup. On Saturday, I take a full database backup. All right? And I'll call that backup strategy full database backup. That's my strategy number 1. I'm going to implement, or I have another thought. The second backup strategy, again, I like to write my things down. And on this strategy, on Sunday, I'll take a full database backup. On Monday, I'll back up only the changes that occurred on Monday. I'm not doing a full. So my backup is very small. On Tuesday, I'll back up only the changes that took place on Tuesday. On Wednesday, I back up only the changes for Wednesday. On Thursday, I back up only the changes for Thursday. On Friday, only the changes that took place on Friday. And on Saturday, I back up only the changes that took place on Saturday. And this backup strategy, this new backup strategy of mine, I'm going to call incremental differential backup. Incremental differential backup. Strategy number 2. I'm also going to put down another backup strategy, number 3, where on Sunday I do a full database backup. On Monday, I back up only the changes for Monday. On Tuesday, I back up the changes since the last full backup. So that will be what backup? Monday and Tuesday.
Monday and Tuesday.
Yes. On Wednesday, I back up the changes since the last full backup, which will be what? Monday, Tuesday,
and Wednesday.
On Thursday, I back up only the changes that took place since the last full backup on Sunday. Monday's backup, Tuesday, Wednesday,
and Thursday.
On Friday, I back up only the changes that took place, which will be what? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Saturday, only the changes since Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Those are my backups. Only changes. So if you see when I run into issues with my full backup taking too long, right? Guess what? I have this one I will call incremental cumulative. What does that mean? It means that my backup, my database full. Okay, let's go to one. Sunday full, Monday full, Tuesday full, Wednesday full, Thursday full, Friday full, Saturday full. But this is where I ran into problems with what? My backup now starts going into what? Starts going to 2 o'clock, which is my backup window is no longer enough. So I have to look for a way to back up a smaller amount of my data. All right, but I have to make, because I have to make sure that I do not have any data loss, I have to plan this incremental differential backup strategy. I will plan my incremental differential backup strategy in such a way that I back up only the changes for that night. So Sunday, I have a very long backup window because it's weekend, right? Nobody's at that work at that time, right? So I don't have problems Sunday. But on Monday, I back up all the changes for Monday. So instead of taking that 1 hour, 1 hour, almost 2 hours, it's not backing up for 5 minutes. Am I still inside my backup window? Yes. So you see that at some point, I may be asked them to take some time off my backup window. On Tuesday, if I'm using this strategy, my backups are now taking 5 minutes to 7 minutes to 10 minutes because I'm backing up only the changes for that day. And if I do cumulative, I'm backing up only the changes since Sunday. But note that options 2 and options 3, their restore and recovery, their restore depends on Sunday. Option 1, their restore depends on what? You just restore from last night. So, question, who can give me an advantage of backup strategy number 1 over strategy number 2? An advantage of strategy number 1 over strategy number 2. Why will it be advantageous to back up with strategy number 1 over strategy number 2?
I think strategy number 1, each time you do a backup, is a full backup, so there are no lapses. But strategy number 2, if you don't do, if the full backup on Sunday is not well done, it will affect the rest of the week.
Yes, but we assume that the backups are done because backup is something that you're going to check every morning. When you're daily activity, one of the first things you check in the morning is to see your backups are done. So I want you to assume that it's done. But what is an advantage of 1 over number 2?
So I think the number 1 is the advantage because you make the full backup. Number 2, just you make it the backup, you do the backup, the change that's it happen like between the Sunday and Monday. But number 1, you can make backup for all of the database.
You're just describing it. You don't know what's the advantage. So who tells you that backing up a full database is more advantageous? Don't you save space? You didn't give me an answer. Give me an answer. What is an advantage of strategy number 1 over strategy number 2?
So I think number 1 is the advantage because it's full database. I'm trying.
Because it's a full database.
Yeah.
That is what it is. What is the advantage of it? I cannot say give me the advantage of Fali. You say because I'm Fali. We know you are. They tell me something that you can do, which will make us and make it advantageous.
I think so because the The number one, you can make it the backup for the entire database, but number two, you cannot make it backup for entire database.
What is that as an advantage?
So because number one, you cannot use data.
What? Number one, you cannot do what?
You cannot lose data. Number one, you cannot lose data.
Number two, you cannot lose data too. None of them will you will lose data. None. You don't lose data for any of them. Then it's not a good strategy if you're going to lose data.
So I think I'm done for.
I think number two is gonna be of more advantage to.
No, I am not asking of which one is more advantageous, right? I'm asking of what is an advantage of number one over number two. You understand? If I ask if the reverse will be another answer, I will ask that question too. But now, for now, the question is, what is an advantage of number one over number two?
So I think number one, you make backup number one, you can associate for number two. But the one you do backup for number two, you cannot associate for number one. That's why number one is advantage.
Who can translate that? Who will translate that to me? But they don't understand it.
So he says, the first one is independent. Like each day is independent of the other, but the second one depends on.
But that is not an advantage, no?
Sir.
Yes.
If the backup for Sunday will disappear after 7 days. So after 7 days, the backup disappears. So the backup
after 7 days, there's another Sunday.
But that's a new week.
7 days, there is another Sunday. So we'll take another backup. It's not going to disappear. We'll take another one on Sunday.
I think.
Can I try, Prof?
Yes.
The backup number two, the advantage is the time.
I didn't say advantage number two. I said number one over number two. What is the advantage of number one over number two?
The advantage of a full backup over number two is that for a full backup, when there's a disaster, you can quickly restore that data. From wherever it's being backed up, because it's backed up consistently every day. So in case there's a disaster.
Tell me from what you are seeing here now. Tell me from what you're seeing. You are making some sense, but tell me.
Yeah, what I'm saying is because backup is made every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Okay, Monica, answer it this way, right?
Okay.
If there is a crash on Thursday, take it from there.
If there's a crash on Thursday, we can easily go back to the one of Wednesday to get the full.
Immediately from last night, and then we simply recover until the crash. The advantage is recoverability is easier for backup strategy number one. Because if that crash, let's compare, a crash happens on Thursday, we simply go to last night's backup, we restore, we recover until the crash. But if on Thursday we have a crash for strategy number two, we will go back to school, start from Sunday. We'll restore on Sunday, restore on Monday, restore on Tuesday, restore on Wednesday, and then we'll start doing our recovery after Wednesday's restore. We're doing 1, 2, 3, 4 restores. But with strategy number one, we did 1 restore from last night. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The advantage of strategy number one over strategy number two is the ease of recoverability. It's quicker to recover if you use strategy number one. You go to last night backup, it's a full one. So all you need to do is restore from last night, recover till the point of crash, and you are good to go. If you have backup strategy number two, you will go back to Sunday. You restore from Sunday, restore Monday, restore Tuesday, restore Wednesday, and then you start doing your recovery. It's an advantage of backup strategy number 2 over backup strategy number 1.
Time.
Yes.
It's just that it's more faster than the backup number 1, as in
Yes.
time wise.
No, you have to say on weekdays, which is on Monday through Saturday, it will take less time and less space to back up, right?
Yes, sir.
Backup strategy. Very good. Okay, what is an advantage of strategy number 3 over strategy number 2? An advantage of strategy number 3 over strategy number 2.
Strategy number 3 has an advantage in the sense that if there's a crash on let's say if there's a crash on Wednesday, we can go back to Tuesday, and we'll have the recovery from Monday and Tuesday, so we can just continue from Tuesday. But for
no, you're not saying it right. You have to put your words together, put your thoughts and words together. What is an advantage of strategy number 3 over number 2?
So I think strategy number 3 is advantage because if you got almost the same example, if you got crash on the Wednesday, the backup, the strategy number 2 is cannot go back up to Sunday, but strategy number 3 it can go back to the Sunday.
Jesus Christ. Explain something so easily, and then you people have to make sure that you jump it, and break it. Woo.
So that's on the first time we
calm down. You should be listening, you should be thinking, not be talking. You are thinking and talking at the same time. Put your words together in your head, then deliver it. It comes out real good. What is an advantage of strategy number 3 over number 2?
First thing is easy recoverability.
Okay. Why do you people like to do this thing, thinking and talking? I will think, I put my thoughts together, put my words together, and then I deliver it. But you seem to go, it's easy recoverability first thing, yes, continue on, and if you are thinking and talking, put the thoughts together. That's why I'm always giving 1, 2, or 3 opportunities for people to talk.
Okay, Prof, let me try again.
Sure.
There's for both strategies, let me start with the strategy number 2. If there's a crash on Thursday, you will need to go back to Sunday. And for strategy number 3, if there's a crash on Thursday, you can go back to Wednesday because it has been back up right up to Wednesday.
No, I refuse. Totally refuse. Therefore, you do not understand what incremental cumulative means. Incremental cumulative says, I'm going to back up the changes since the last full backup, since the last level 0 backup, since the last backup on Sunday.
Since the last backup on Sunday, that's why I didn't say we'll go back to Sunday now, Prof.
Good, and that's why it's very wrong, because you must go back to Sunday. You go back to Sunday too. Monday is just the changes. On Tuesday is the changes from Monday and Tuesday. On Wednesday, the changes from Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. On Thursday, the changes from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. On Friday, it's just the changes from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So they're all dependent on the level 0 Sunday backup. Sunday is the day we have the full backup.
Oh, meaning they're both the same.
Wait, what about the same?
No, meaning for both, you have to go back to Sunday.
No, because that is a full database backup. The rest of it is incremental just for that week. Then what happened to the database that has been existing for the past 25 years? You're going to leave that alone?
No, Prof.
So that is a full. Now that you know that, what is the advantage of 3/2? Who is laughing here? Sometimes I really wish I could see people. I'm going to make a rule, maybe for next week, all cameras will be on, and I'll see those who are laughing. Who is laughing?
So,
Monica, answer now.
I was about to say something. I feel the same answer goes to 2, is it 2/3? It's still the time to restore it too.
So they said the advantage of 3/2 and not 2/3.
Yes, 3/2. Yes.
There's no advantage.
the advantage, I think there's an advantage.
It's faster to restore. 3/2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think less data is copied in incremental cumulative than in the incremental.
Anybody has it?
Try.
How to try?
If you have a crash on Friday and you want to back up, that is for incremental. If you have a crash on Friday, you want to back up, you
There
start.
are 2 kinds of incremental. You are comparing the two
For
of them.
incremental differential.
Okay.
If you have a crash on Friday, you have to restore from Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But for incremental cumulative, if you have a crash on Friday, you can restore just for Sunday and Thursday, because Thursday has Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in it, and Thursday in it.
Very good. Somebody got it. Finally. Please tell the other people. I don't know how to tell them, but I've tried. Does anybody have any question? Who has a different take of it? Because that's the right answer. Who wants to spoil it?
I want to arrange it.
Yeah.
Don't let.
We're all good? Are we good?
Yes, sir.
All right. I want to now give you another one last concept before I start the chapter with you. And then we'll do a backup. Backup strategy. So, all right. When you are backing up files, right, you have an opportunity to back it up as the file is, just like if you copy a file. Remember when we were copying files in D1, D2? You can have a file, you can copy a file, or you can back up a file, one as the image copy, and what does image copy mean? Image copy means that it's a mirror, right? Let's still have files here. Files 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And you make a copy of them. Image copy, you're going to have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say this file is 100 M. This is 50 M. This is 100 M. This is 50 M. And this is 100 M. All right? What's the total of this? 1, 2, 3, 4. 400 megabytes. If you make an image copy of it, you have this file will be what? 100 megabytes, 50 megabytes, 100 megabytes, 100 megabytes. Total of what? 400 megabytes. That's an image copy. In Oracle, you can also back up an image copy, or when you're backing up files, you can decide to back them up as backup sets. Where if you have a file, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And this is 100, 50, 100, 50, 100, and you want to back them up, you can back it in such a way that you have 1, 2 files. Let's say this is file 1, file 2, file 3, file 4, file 5. Back it up as image copy. You're going to have file 1, file 2, file 3, file 4, file 5. The backup sets, if you have a file called file 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can back it up. You will have just, you can have just 2 files. You can even have just 1 file. And this file can have maybe your file 1, part of file 1 will be there, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it will put your files together. The good thing, advantage with this backup sets is that this one will be, what's the total of this? 400 megabytes. But backup sets, it does not back up empty spaces. And 20% of most files is kind of empty. So this one will end up being what? 300 megabytes. So you save space if you back them up as because it doesn't back empty spaces. Are we good?
Yes, sir.
So this backup sets will save space. But in image copy, when you want to restore, I can just go to file number 3 that I want. And I pick just that file and I restore it. But with backup sets, I have to come and pick up the whole backup piece, right? The whole backup set number 1. And then come and then extract file number 3 before I can restore it. Does that make sense? So easily recoverability, advantage of image copy, and backup sets. All right. And with backup sets, we have backup sets. We have we save space. Are we good?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm going to bring up the chapter and we can start it. Hopefully, we've done some teaching before, and it's going to reflect on the class. All right.
Yes.
Sorry? I need to speak to somebody.
All right. So we'll learn how to create a consistent backup. We'll talk about consistent backup. We know what consistent backup, what that means, right? It's a full backup. You back up your database without shutting it down. That is an inconsistent backup. We know what an incremental backup is, backing up part of the database. And at some point, we'll try to automate our backups so that they can run this weekend. Okay. The tool that we're going to use for backup is called RMAN, Recovery Manager. That's what RMAN is on. Guys, if you don't want to do this, you can just mute yourself, man. You don't need to be. How can we be doing stuff noise when there's technology to stop you from talking? All right. Oracle Secure Backups. Remember, we're talking about backup of the backups, right? That's Oracle's tool that does Oracle Secure Backups. User managed backups is the scripts. Remember the script that I wrote, where I said we'll do alter table space backup, then you copy the file, then you do alter table space end backup. Then you do that begin backup. So you do that for all the database. So it's you who write a lot of scripts. But Oracle is phasing that one out because RMAN will write those scripts for you behind the scenes, and you will not know. So, as you will see in the remainder of these lessons, RMAN, Recovery Manager, is a recommended method of backing up your database. Oracle Secure Backup complements existing functionality by adding the backup to tape. So RMAN will back up its files to disk. You can use the Oracle Secure Backups to back up to tapes. User managed backup is the kind of backup where we use scripts and which the DB1 must write. And this option is, like I said, is being phased out. It's an older method of doing things, but the data RMAN breaks down, you need to know what to do, how to fix it. So we jump to the Oracle Secure Backups, which I said is the backup of the backups, which backs up your FRA. You, the DBA, you back up to the FRA, and Oracle Secure or any of those media managed layer MML, they will back up from the FRA. All right. So Oracle Secure Backups and RMAN, they provide an end-to-end solution. So it says if you use RMAN to back up to the FRA, you can use Oracle Secure Backup to back up from the FRA. It's a centralized tape backup, tape management for file system data and Oracle database. It's most well-integrated media management layer for RMAN backups. That is, we're talking about Oracle Secure Backups. So you can back up also even things that are not in your database. Even outside your FRA, it says you can even back up your operating system. So it says a single technical support will be the source of your entire backup solution, which will expedite problem resolution. This ensures reliable data protection at low cost. All right, so what he's describing here is the Oracle Secure Backup. I've never worked with Oracle Secure Backup. It's using it to back up on the backups. But I've used many other tools and they work better and they work great. They're doing better. All right. Oracle's current backup and recovery product for your database is RMAN, the Recovery Manager. Oracle Secure Backup complements existing functionality in the following ways. It's a complete backup solution. All right. It means that if you use both of them, Oracle Secure Backup will provide data protection for the database and non-database data. So it just backs up everywhere across your entire environment, including your network. Media management. Oracle Secure Backup provides the media management layer for RMAN database backups to tape. Before Oracle Secure Backup, customers had to purchase expensive third parties. So it's calling those things that I put in the Veritas and Tivoli, but they are much more popular than the Oracle Secure Backup. So it says you can back up anywhere in the network. Oracle Secure Backup backs up data files from multiple networks, attach multiple systems to tertiary storage, and so on. So this Oracle Secure Backups, it just backs up everything. Again, it is not a real, that's not what we want. We want our RMAN to back up our database. We don't care about who is backing up after that because it's not the DBA's responsibility. So here it's also saying that if you combine RMAN and Oracle Secure Backups, you will have end-to-end backup solution. We are going to back up to the FRA, and Oracle Secure Backups will back up from the FRA. Again, as I said, that's not very important to us. All right. User managed backup, like we said, is being phased out, right? Being phased out means people don't use it again that much because there is RMAN doing the backups. But if you go in, you see that there are so many environments that are still using scripts. So it is a manual process of tracking backup needs and status. User managed backup scenario. It's typically used your own written script. So you write your own scripts. It requires that database files are put in the backup mode. You know how we put the database in backup mode, right? We're doing what? Saying alter table space, begin backup, that file is squished immediately. And when you finish copying, you can take it out of backup mode by doing what? Alter table space and backup. Then it relies on the operating system command. You see what we did, we copied, we did a CP after that. So for you to run a user managed backup, query certain queries. For example, you want backup data file by data file. So if you want to know, you see your VDollar data file here, right? VDollar data file, you have to query it to see the data files that belong to that table space when you are writing the scripts. All right? So you can perform it interactively, but you can write there those scripts. So there are several scenarios that can run and script will be written to handle them. So if you query VDollar data file, select name from VDollar data file, you see all the data files that belong to your database. You can query VDollar log file, you're going to see all your redo log files. VDollar control file, because a backup is a backup of your database files. All right, all your files in that backup. You can place a table space in online backup mode by doing what? Alter table space begin backup. You put it in online backup mode. You can query your VDollar backup and you see the data files that are part of the table space that has been placed in the backup mode. So while it's copying, you can still query your database and see what's being backed up. Then you will issue the operating system copy commands to do what? Copy your files from your database location to the FRA location. After that, you bring each table space online out of the backup mode. So once you back up the table space, bring it on out of backup mode, then you are good to go. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right, so that's how we're going to write those scripts. I've shown you how to write the script, give you an example. All right, some terminologies which we're going to use here, we've done part of it or most of it. Backup strategy. It may include an entire database backup or just a part of a database. We've seen scenarios here where we did incremental backup, right? You can back up any, backup type may indicate inclusion of all the blocks within the files or only information that has changed. You see, in this case, we said it was incremental. Cumulative changes since the last level 0 and incremental changes since the last incremental. All right? We have also seen that we can have offline backups, which are otherwise called consistent backups or cold backups. We've also done online backups, which are what? Inconsistent or hot backups. We'll know that 90% of the time, what kind of backup do we perform? We said 90% of the time, what kind of backups are we going to perform? Online backups, yes, because people do not want to shut down their databases. A whole database backup includes all the data files and at least one control file. Remember that? All control files are identical. So if you have one, you can simply just multiplex the rest. I'm sure you know what it means to multiplex the control file. A partial database backup may include 0 or more table spaces, 0 or more data files. May or may not include a control file. A full database backup makes a copy of each data block that contains data that is within the files that are being backed up. We also have this guy called the incremental backups, which we just did. That helps us in doing what? In saving time so we could and space so we could fit a backup through what? Our backup window. Remember, what was our predicament? Our predicament was that we could not fit that backup window. So incremental backup, it makes a copy of all data blocks that have changed since a previous backup. Makes a copy, right? Incremental since the previous backup. The Oracle database supports 2 levels of incremental backup, level 0 and level 1. A level 1 incremental backup can be one of two types, cumulative or differential. Cumulative backup backs up all changes since our last level 0. So the level 0 we're talking about is what? The Sunday's backup, correct?
Yes, sir.
A differential backup backs up all the changes since the last incremental, which is since the last incremental was in the differential, right? Which was the last night. On Tuesday was last night, since last night. On Wednesday was since last night, right? Which could either be a level 0 or a level 1 backup. You can get something called block change tracking. We'll explain that later on. We simply, we know that incremental backup, the backup only changes that have taken place, right? So how will Oracle know the blocks that have changed? So we can configure something called block change tracking, which means that if after a backup has finished, during the day, if data comes and changes in any block that is changed, guess what? We're going to write it down in a file. So when Oracle comes and wants to go do a backup, he will just take that file and he knows all the blocks that have changed. Does that make sense? So you are working that file, keeping track of all the blocks that have changed. Are we good?
Yes, sir.
We have some backups called offline backups, which are all consistent backups. These are taken while your database is not open. So why do we call them consistent? They're consistent because at the time of the backup, the SCN, the system change number in the data file header, matches the SCN in the control files, right? Because they're consistently shut down. We have another kind of backup which is called the online backups. These are also known as the hot or the inconsistent backups. The backups are taken while your database is open, and they are inconsistent because with your database open, there is no guarantee that the data files are synchronized with the control file, right? SCN, we cannot be matching SCN, right? But we do not have a problem because we have our archive log files. All right, you see what we mean by image copies? This one here, there are image copies. We good?
Yes, sir.
So
there are 6 files there, by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a backup set. And what is a backup set? It's one file, but it contains all those little files. So it's a backup set. It's binary, could compress, it saves space. Image copies, they are good, but the advantage of image copies is that if I say restore file number 4, I'll just go and drag my file number 4 and go and restore it. Here, I must restore the entire backup set, then I come and extract file number 4. Does that make sense? Because all of them exist as the same file. So, image copies, they are duplicates of data file or archive log files, similar to just copying a file. Remember when we did copy yellow to yellow 2, it was just exact same file. Even there's nothing in there, there's nothing. You copy the file as the same size. With backup sets, they are collections of one or more binary files that contain one or more data files, control files, SP files, or archive log files. With backup sets, empty data blocks are not stored. So backup sets, like we said, they are not going to back up empty spaces, right? If there are empty blocks in there, backup sets will not back them up. Therefore, causing backup sets to use less space on disk or tape. Backup sets can be compressed to further reduce the space requirement of the backup. So you can actually save space using backup sets. Image copies must be backed up to disk. Backup sets, you can back them to disk or you can back them up to tape. So the advantage of creating a backup as an image copy is improved granularity of the restore operation. What does that mean? With image copy, only the file that is needed can be retrieved from your backup, right? As I said, if I say, go get me file 4, you go to your backup, you take file 4, you bring it. You don't have to go and bring up the entire backup set. Because with backup sets, the entire backup set must be retrieved from your backup location before you can extract the file that is needed. We'll go with that, right? The advantage of creating backups as backup sets is better space management. In most cases, 20% or sometimes more of a data file or data blocks are empty blocks. Image copies will back up every data block, whether it's full or it's empty, even if the data block is empty. Backup sets will significantly reduce the space that is required for the backup. In most systems, the advantage of backup sets will outweigh the advantage of image copies. So the advantage of saving space will outweigh the advantage of the granularity of the restore operation. All right. So, does anybody have any questions anywhere? I think we've gone through most of this that we're seeing now, right?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that is the essence of this. So we can go through it. I took 1 hour plus to do, or just to draw all kinds of things. If you focus on that, then you are good to go with backup for your life. And that is, and you will go to a job that, or that is something you do every day. So that's why I'm taking time to make sure that you really understand this. Arman is our backup tool. So an Arman is a powerful control and has a powerful control scripting language. It is integrated with Enterprise Manager. So if we use Enterprise Manager to do a backup, it is using Arman to do the backup behind the scenes. All right? It has published interfaces that will enable us to interface with most popular backup software. Backup data files, backup control files, backup archive logs, and several parameter files, SP files. Backing up files, it can Arman can back up to disk or back it up to tape. So Arman is a component of the Oracle database. Remember I said Oracle database has many different tools. We brought DBCA to create a database. We brought Netcar to configure our listener. Guess what? We want to do backups now, right? Guess who? So that's our own Arman. So Arman is the component of the Oracle database that is used to perform backup and recovery operations. It can make consistent and inconsistent backups. So you can use Arman to do what? Hot or cold backup. You can perform incremental backups, you can perform full backups, you can back up the entire or the whole database or the portion. What's that? Somebody's snoring. I told you it will happen one day.
Wow.
My goodness. Oh my God.
Who is that?
Do I know?
The host is wicked. They should have muted him.
The FME.
Oh, it's not me.
No,
What?
it's J Job.
Talk about me.
J Job. There's somebody called J Job there.
Hey. Some people have to really go to the hospital.
Corona.
I'm drawing all of these things. I told you when are you laughing? Some people come to class and sleep. They sleep right inside class. They drive all the way from their house to come to school and sleep.
Oh my God.
Why are people laughing so hard? Who's laughing? And nobody now says that I'm laughing. Monica, are you laughing? You cannot even say it, no. Or you two are asleep. You sure they are not snoring. All right. Arman uses its own powerful job control and scripting language, as well as published API that interfaces Arman with many popular backup software solutions. Arman can store backups. Arman can store backups on disk for quick recovery, or you can place them for long-term on tape. Place them on tape for long-term storage. For Arman to store backups on tape, you must either use your Oracle's, Oracle Secure Backup, which we talked about, right? Doing the backup of our backups. All right. Enterprise Manager supplies a graphic user interface, right? Most common used by Arman. Advanced backup and recovery operations are accessible through Arman's command line client. More information about that, we're going to talk about, we're going to use Alman a lot in DB2. A lot, especially Alman command line. But it's easy and it's the same thing. All right. So what I want us to do now is I want us to do our backup settings. I want us to create settings for our backup so that when we back up, we have settings like we have specified. I want us to go set our database to use to do image copies. It's defaulted to backup set, but I have a reason. I want us to see our files when we're doing backups. Can somebody, I want somebody give me your IP address. For student what? Student what?
61.
61?
Yes.
All right. We're hearing weird noises there. What kind of noises are those? Are you quarantined somewhere?
Why don't they just mute him now?
Nah, the host is sleeping. I don't know. The host should have muted him. Hello.
The host is sleeping now. I'm not sleeping.
Okay, then mute him. It's J Rod that is snoring. Just mute him.
J Rod.
Yeah, it's Mr. Jack.
B.
Maureen.
Thank you. Ooh. All right. So if you go to availability, it says student 61. Why am I not? Oh, it's still working it. Oh, sorry. Okay, so let's go to availability. And then you go to backup settings. The first one says backup settings. Okay. Parallelism says how many streams of backup do you want to use? So sometimes when we are doing backup, we can copy to multiple locations, or we can use, you can have a big file and say 2 streams will always copy faster than 1 stream. All right, but we're not doing backups now. So let's leave it at parallelism 1. It says this backup location, we're not changing it, we're backing everything up to the FRA. It's this backup type, I want image copies. I'm going to change that to image copies. Why do I want image copies? Because I want you to see the real files that you backed up. When we start looking at our backup files, I want the real files. You appreciate it more than if we do backup sets where it just bundles all files into one. Oracle does that in its own format. So I want image copies. We know that image copies is going to back up our files. Then I want you to, oops, sorry. Image copies. Then scroll down and go to, we're not changing anything here. Remember, these are just settings for the backups. Then let's go to host credentials. I want us to do Oracle and class. What are we, 26?
Yes, sir.
Oracle class 26.
Yes, sir.
I want you to go to the next tab which says backup set. I just want to show you something there. We're not changing anything in there. So if you click on backup sets, you see here it says maximum backup piece. So if you're doing backup sets, remember that Oracle is going to back it up for you and put the files, bundle up the files for you, but you can give that file a size. You can decide that, no, my files should not be more than 10 gigs. So when it goes to 10 gigs, go to jump to the next one, go to 10 gigs, jump to the next one. But we're not doing that, we're doing image copies. So you just back up the files exactly as is. Then I want you to move on to the next tab which says policy. All right. The first thing we'll do with the policy is, if you look at the very first thing, it says automatically back up the control file and the server parameter file, the SP file, with every backup and database structural change. Very important, right? You always want your control files to be backed up whenever there's a change in your database, or every time you do a backup. So select that one. We want to make another change. I want us to come to table space excluded. There are so many things we can do here, but I'll explain when we go to tuning backups. But where it says retention policy, what did we say retention policy was going to be?
7 days.
7 days, thank you. So we are going to change this to 7 days. So we'll click retain backups that are necessary for a recovery to any time within the specified number of days. This number of days is what? 7. Does that make sense? So first, I select retain backups that are necessary for a recovery to any time within the specified number of days. The specified number of days is 7. So we have made our retention policy 7 days. Are we good?
Yes, sir.
All right. And at this point, we're going to go back and say, scroll down, and then we're going to say OK. So we have changed 3 things for our backup policy. What are the 3 things we have changed? Our backup policy now has a policy of what? We're going to back up image copies. So when we do a backup now, it will do an image copies. But what I want us to do today is to schedule backup. We'll do image copy. We'll back up control file and SP file as part of every backup. And we're going to retain our database retention policy will be what? 7 days. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Those are settings.
Yes, sir.
Take a look at other additional settings. You know, you see many of them are there. You can use them like parallelism. We saw we use them. But I'm not changing now for the heck of it. We'll change them when we get there. All right. Okay, we'll keep that page open, but I'll just go back to the notes. So this is where it means configure backup settings. So backup settings, it says device parallelism. We could change it. We'll get back to that in some place. Backup sets, we could set the amount of backup, the size of the backup files. You can set it right there. And also, inside to tape. So we don't want tape. But what we wanted to do here, or what we did here was that, so this just describe the things that we can do. You know, backup location, you can set in the backup set, says, when you select that, the parallelism, how many separate streams of backup information do you want to create? Let's leave it at 1. The best setting for the parallelism depends on your hardware. For the same, if you have a dual processor, you can just do 2 streams. The quad processor, you can do 4 streams, it's fine. As hardware resources will increase, the appropriate degree of parallelism will also increase. Generally, you want to set your parallelism to the number of disks that your disk backup location is striped over. For tape backup, you want to set your parallelism to the number of tape drives that you have. This backup location, we are not changing that. Let me go to the hard man. This backup type, we could do a backup set, we could do compressed backup set, or we could do image copies. We selected what? What did we select?
Image.
What did we select?
Backup.
What did we select? I didn't get that. We had the option of backup set, compressed backup set, or image copy. What did we select?
Image copy.
Image copy.
Image copy, sir.
All right.
Image copy.
So you can click the backup set tab to set the minimum file size. So we're not dealing with that backup set. No, not active. Then we came here and we selected best practices, automatically back up the control file and the SP file. We did that, right? Okay. It says optimize backups. We're going to deal with all of these things maybe in the next time. We didn't do any of this. All we came here and did was what? set our retention policy to 7 days.
7 days.
7 days. So you can optimize backup. So when your backups are running slow, you can come here, you can automatically back up the control file and the SP file with each backup. You can also specify a location for these backups. Optimize backups by not backing up files that exactly match a file that is already part of the retained backup. You can enable block change tracking, and if you enable block change tracking, you can set that thing which I said will capture the blocks that have changed. All right? You can exclude table spaces, but we'll deal with that later on. What I want us to do is, I want us to go to set the backups. So let's go back to our enterprise manager. All right, where it says schedule the backups. All right, so click on schedule backups. Please go put all your data files, everything that is offline, go and turn them online. So I'll quickly go back on here. Please, if you have data files that are offline, please try to put them, because you will see them as mistakes. And sometimes your things will fail there. But just for now, I don't want you to be worrying about those. So you have books, which was offline. What are you going to do? Place online. Go. Yes. All right. Please, if you have any of these files, here you have one which says pen. Place online. Yes. You have some read-only files in there, but sometimes you will not take it. But let's see. Are these all the files? Yes. So let's see. Schedule a backup. All right. I want you to go to for whole database backup, put in your host credentials, which is Oracle, class 26. Are we good? Oracle
Yes,
class 26. They go to schedule customized backups. Schedule customized backups. All right. You see, so those errors are gone because we've turned them online. We don't want, please, if you have any offline backup, any table spaces, go and turn them online just to avoid some errors. We can fix those from later on. Okay. So I want you to do a full database backup. That's already checked for us, right? So it's not incremental. If it's incremental, we'll check that one, but that's not what we're doing now. I want this backup to be an online backup, all right? And also it says, also backup, leave the advanced configuration there as is. Again, if you want to set up sizes for backup sets, you can select them, but that's not, we don't want that, all right? So we're doing, we'll set a database, click on next. Next, it says you're going to back it up to disk, because we don't back up on tape, we don't have tape drives. We back up on disk, and the location should be a FRA location. Very good. We want to back it up to disk. And the location is the search or data slash FRA.
I have a problem. My location is not pointing to FRA.
Then you stop, you cannot do it. Then you must go and tell your database to point to the FRA. You do not put your database in the FRA. You must stop. You cannot back up, else it's not going to go there. If we put your database in the FRA mode, that's the thing. You have to take, just look at how we do it. We went back. The parameter is not pointing to that location. Okay, then you go to next. All right, it says it's your first job, you're taking your first backup job, is this job, and it's a whole database backup. But when it comes to, I don't want you to just do it for once, I want you to click on repeating. When it says schedule, go to repeating. All right, how often should we do our backups? Every night, right? It means every 1 day or every 24 hours, depending on, it's a frequency type. You can do by hours, you can do by day. You can do every 1 day. And the time zone, UTC -5, that's Canada Eastern time. It's the same thing with US. Go one down with US Eastern time. All right. We're going to start our backup from 2 a.m. How many groups are in the evening class?
3.
There are 3 groups in the evening class?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want the first group to back up your database, let your backup run at morning class 2. Let your backup run at 3 a.m. So you're going to be very careful. You're going to do something like this: 300, and you're going to select AM because it's defaulted to PM. You don't want your database to be backing up during the day. Group 2, your backup should run at 4 a.m. and group 3, your backup should run at 5 a.m. So all the members of that group select your own. You're either 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. Group 1, 3 a.m. Those in group 2, 4 a.m. Those in group 3, 5 a.m. And I want them to run indefinitely. So we don't have a time that we want our backups to stop running. We just want them to keep running. All right. So if you have set all of these and then you have set the schedule to run, the AM time running, I will set here, select your group. I want you to click on next. And it gives you a summary of your job. And I need you here to click on submit. All right. Since your job has been successfully submitted, which means 3 a.m. will run, let it run tomorrow, Sunday and Monday, 3 a.m. So when we come back on Monday, we're going to look at our backups. When we come on Monday, we're going to look at the backups that ran. Those that ran successfully, those that failed, we'll see why they failed. Then we'll explain a few more details about optimizing the backups. All right. So this here just explains to us what we have just done. So click availability and so on. And so on, it's telling you the various things that we can do with our backups. If for incremental, you click it if it's not done. So we did not do incremental backup that way. Here we selected online, we selected full backup. We went back in here, so you select online your full backup. So only a full backup. You can select use And for this one, okay, if it's incremental backup, you can select those ones, but we're not using it as an incremental backup. All right. You will also select an online backup. If you wanted your database to go down before it backs up, you can select offline. So it's simply just telling you what to do. Select delete obsolete backups to remove backups that fall outside the retention policy. So RMAN actually automatically deletes any backup that falls outside our retention policy. So RMAN will do that delete for us. Okay, here we said we are going to back it up next is to disk. So all the notes, we just followed it up, we just performed what was there. This, because we're not using tape. Then we came to scheduling it. So we tried to spread it around. We started at 12 midnight. So morning class, they backed up from 12 to 12:30 to 1:30. So they backed up to I think 2:30. That's why we started at 3. Because I don't want everybody to run all the backups at the same time. So slow down our systems. So if you spread it out, it's better management of. And so we backed it up. And so that's the script we submitted it. All right. I'm going to end here and we'll start on Monday. We're going to look at the backups that run. Then we'll do back up our special way of backing up control file. And then we'll check our backup reports because I want it to run for a few days. Then we can see our backup reports. If your backup is not running, go and make sure that you fix your FRA and FRA sites. Does anybody have any question? I have to run, not run, I have to have a meeting to be at 9 o'clock. So that's why I wanted to just do it straight up. Any questions? Just go back and look at how we configured the FRA. Make sure your database is on archive log mode. If you have any offline table spaces, please make sure you bring them online. We are going to put the things offline and we're going to make them crash, but I want this first one to just go smooth. Then we can learn from the other things of crash. All right. So since nobody has any question for me, was it a good class? Did you learn things?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We need to put in practice.
So I'm going to actually go through those my first 1.5 hours, I was only writing. Those are very important. You must know it. In the morning class, many people have sent me text messages just saying this is the best class they've ever attended because they felt like they actually understood everything because I want to demystify database management for you guys. So just make sure that you do it. This thing is not hard, it is easy. But once you understand the intricacies of that, you understand these concepts. As you move forward, you're simply just applying the concept. Go to work, you're simply just applying the concept. All right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Excuse me, sir. I have a question. My question is because when you said we should add a control file to the existing control files, you said we should do that on a play database.
I think when I say you should add a control file to an existing control file,
But you said we should add a control file to the existing control file. You said we should do that on a play database, not on the class database, right?
Yes, I said you should practice on your play database. If you have succeeded, then you can move it onto your real database. Multiplex your control files. Add a third control file to the 2 existing ones.
Okay, so my question now is that this backups that you're talking about now, we have to do it on our regular enterprise manager, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I believe most people already did it.
Sir?
I believe most people already did it. When I go to enterprise manager and I say click here, select this, we're talking about your class. One database has backup, so your class database should back up into this night. It has been scheduled to be backing up now every night. This setting we're setting in is for your class database. Enterprise manager is pointing to one database. When I go there, I know that there are things which you can't break them. That's why. I want you to practice control file with your play database. I'll actually send you there. Just like I said, when you lost, you can do it with your real database. It's not going to break anything. But if you mess up control file in your real database, it's going to hold you from doing this. That's why I want you to practice it, but once you know it, you come implement it here, then it's good to go. All right? Any questions?
Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. All right, good people. I'll see you on Monday.
Okay, sir. Enjoy your
All
weekend.
right, sir. Have a good
Let's go
night.
and crash the databases.